Hey, Coach. How did things go in the review and trying to assess what happened before you can move forward here? Yesterday's game.
Obviously, after every game, and you have to do that and be honest about things. And like I said yesterday, when you can't sugarcoat it, nor can you make excuses. So you go in there, and everybody, starting with myself, got to be accountable for everything and understand, what happened, why they happened, and how do you fix them. Certain things have certainly hurt us, and some critical situations, especially. Most of these games are going to be close, and obviously we had our opportunities yesterday and didn't take advantage of it. Still had a chance late, and a couple things we've got to certainly clean up moving forward.
I did see you mentioned a third down. I see that was the season high.
Mm-hmm.
Would that lead you to stay with Taylor as the quarterback?
Yeah, I think especially going into this week, we'll go with Taylor this week, and kind of reassess after this week going into the bye. There's always things to work on. He's played the last six quarters, and we've scored 48 points with him back there. Obviously, we want more than that, but it's just that'll be the plan this week.
Is there the danger in going, especially at that position, going week to week, in some ways like what you guys were doing?
I think we can, the bye comes at a good time. I understand that question. You don't want to play, a two-quarterback system or whatnot, but I think just kind of where we're at and everything that's going on, that the bye will be a good time to assess, and, certainly don't plan on it being some week to week after that, but we need to do everything we can to go get this win out in Arizona, and that's got to be our ultimate focus this week.
Last week you spent a bunch of time saying that this week only with Minnesota, with Taylor. In the back of your head, was part of this maybe a longer 2-week look, that you're past that week?
Well, certainly going into it, the focus is on Minnesota, and like I said, there was a lot of things going on. Rolling into this week and just kind of looking at everything and where we're at, and really the whole situation that we think that's best for our team right now. For Taylor, doesn't mean anything's over for Dez, but we need to go get this win out in Arizona, and certainly we feel like it gives us the best chance with everything going on right now.
What's the state of this team mentally? A couple losses.
Sure.
Where I'm sure you.
Yeah, that's like I said, you've got to be accountable for it, and you're not going to sugarcoat it. You can be frustrated, you can be mad. You're going to feel all the emotions, but we got a chance to go do something about it. As bad as it feels, nobody's celebrating being 4-5, but the reality is, and when you have the perspective, after you get these corrections and you assess everything, we do still control our own destiny. You have half a season, a lot can happen, and you lock in, go get this win in Arizona. Let's do something about it. But everything's in front of us. We have two critical division wins. We still have 4 more. We'll have a huge game coming up after the bye. But again, we got to go get this win in Arizona and do everything we can to do it. So I'd say this: you asked the question of where it is. I think we have the right perspective. Frustrated, but we have the right guys that want to go do something about it and understand that we're not dead. So as bad as we feel, we need to go do something about it and get this win.
Arthur, is it fair to say knocking Jaron Hall out of the game might have hurt you more than it helped you? Josh Dobbs had 3 off the top of my head, 3rd and 10 runs where he extended. How do you pivot for that in the middle of a game?
Well, their game plan didn't necessarily change. Again, you'd have to ask Kevin O'Connell that, but going in, they played it how we thought they would. Trying to run it, keep advantage, a couple screens. They did do a little bit of no huddle. They hit us the one play. They got down there. They hit that shot. We had a miscommunication. When they hit that outside play. They got down there. We stopped him on the goal line, and that's when he did get hurt. And then where Josh took over, their plan didn't necessarily change, but he did a great job extending plays, and that's where his natural instincts took over. He's a veteran in this league, and he did. He hurt us. And having said that, we got to be more disciplined, whether we were calling blitz or just coverage. He got out contained. We missed some sacks, we missed some tackles, and that ended up being the difference on that side of the ball. But it certainly had been a part of things sometimes where it's worked against you. It happened to us when I was in Washington. I remember in 2008 in the game. And credit to Josh. I mean, we got to be better there about contain and taking advantage of those opportunities for sacks and open field tackles.
When it comes to the stuff in the play calling stuff in the low red zone and the ball distribution, how much of that is dictated by the way the defense plays you, and how much of that do you try to control who's getting the ball? I mean, like, I want to get this guy so many touches in this situation.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you're going to call what you think is your best chance to score a touchdown, and, you know, there's a fine line to it about, you know, who's the primary in the passing game and what you're trying to set up. And so, you know, officially, you know, whatever the snaps are, you know, you take out the penalties, and if you want to put the 2-point plays in there, I think we have 27, just looking at it, just, you know, as we self-scout every week and just going back and looking at the trends and where the ball goes. And sometimes you package things down there because there are so many multiple looks as the field gets condensed. If you go big, sometimes you go big and try to spread them out. You feel like you get matchups maybe one-on-one with a certain linebacker. We've done that before, tried to get Kyle matched up on somebody, got a penalty off it in Green Bay. There's other times where you may have a zone read with run alerts, or however you're packaging that, or you may have a run package with a pass depending on the looks. So there's a lot of strategy goes down there, and they do have a say too, but there's things you're trying to attack. And then when you have a back like Tyler, who to me is one of the better short yardage goal line backs in the league, the times we put him and Bijan out there, people played it. Every time we given Bijan the ball out there. I mean, at the end of the day, we gotta find a way. These aren't excuses. I'm just kind of giving you the rationale and the strategy behind it. You got to have your whys while you're doing something. When it doesn't get you the result, okay, what happened? What do you need to do better? So there's a lot that goes into it, and we have a lot of guys that can make plays. I mean, certainly you saw Tyler Algier take over that fourth quarter yesterday, and that's not a knock on anybody else, but we kind of, you know, the way the game went yesterday, and that's why we have a ton of respect for the way Flores operates. And going back to New England, they like to package things. They kind of run a defense somewhere on offense. Those are the games with the games. And we were kind of bluffing some checks or checking, and they were checking out on some pressures, and we hit some big plays. We hit the one to Hodge early in the game and some other critical third downs. And they do the same thing in the red zone. I mean, you work they've been doing that shift since Teddy Bruschi was back there in New England, and they got us yesterday, even after the Zoe turnover. And then we come back out, different package, and they bring pressure. We get the screen to Jonnu and get down to the one, and they pack it again, and, you know, we don't get the ball outside. So credit to them, and we obviously got to do a better job. And but those are the games with the game. There's a lot of strategy. Ultimately, at the end of the day, if you're not getting the results you want, what are the issues? You know, the turnovers down there have hurt us big time as well, among other things. But there's a lot of thought that goes into it, and there is a fine line if you're going to use somebody in the run game. You know, every time Tyler runs out there, can't just be pass. You know, you use them both out there. Where do you put them? Yeah, there's a lot to it. At the end of the day, we've got to find a way. You know, where we're trending offensively. Like I said, I mean, there's a lot of really good things, but ultimately what matters, you guys score more points, and you guys score more points than the other team. We haven't done that the last 2 weeks for sure.
Coach, in that fourth quarter drive, you saw the sense of urgency. Can you take that and move that to, you know, throughout? You know, I guess ideally you want to see that drive every.
Sure. You want to see it every time you touch the ball, you know, and then they got good players over there, but we believe in some of the things, and I think you adjust as the game goes on. There was a lot going on, and we knew there was the way they operate, and they were going to bring a lot of edge pressure, a lot of cover zero, bluff you cover zero, get out to it to some zone stuff, and we felt we took advantage of some of that on third down. And in the run game, I mean, you saw they got us a few off track early, and we came back and adjusted, and were able. And then the thing we believe in, especially up front, is our conditioning. And I think you saw that the way that drive went. What they took 7 minutes, I think, give or take, and how they were going to play. A lot of that too. You talk about personnel packages. A lot of it's just wanting us in that look because we kind of knew what we were getting. They had played so many different looks on some other personnel. You know, when Tucker went out there and Tyler, they played it improved, played us a certain way, and we liked the angles, we liked the advantage, and Tucker did a nice job, and Tyler was rolling. I felt that he took that game over. And so when you have a lot of good players, that's a good problem to have, and we punched it in. But ultimately, we didn't get it done overall.
look at the offense as a whole, I mean,
Mhm.
it seems like turnovers is that something that you can even control, or does that end up being, that's on the players, and that's?
You know, there's a lot of things, Mike, I just believe, and maybe I'm naive or whatever, but it's just, there's ways we got to continue to work it. You know, whether we get creative in the drills or you got to keep working it. And I know this, it has been a problem, and it seems like it's, you know, carried the bad momentum. Certainly, it's been like that at times. I mean, we went back-to-back turnovers, and they scored 11 points off their turnovers. We scored 6. So that was a big difference, and just the timing of it. You know, you get the big play to Jonnu, get the ball right back, and then you get a decent run. You know, an earned first run, and the ball pops out. So we got to do a better job with the ball security. I think there's things we can continue to work on, coaching, and then the players. It's all of us. And then when you have the right people, you're accountable. You don't want to give them we're not program or staff or team that's going to blame people. We got to find the solutions, and we got to do it in a hurry.
I know you said that, you know, not scoring more points than the other guys the last couple of weeks, but you know, 5 weeks in a row now you're with 350 yards per game, 403 the last 5. Process over result. I mean, the offense is, even with the change of quarterback, the offense is working. I mean, is there something you can take away from any of this that's worthwhile, other than the results not bearing what you want them to be?
Yeah, and I hope nobody mistakes that. I mean, I just want to make sure that we understand, starting with me, that you're accountable. And I think that, and sometimes I hope that doesn't come across as too negative or defensive. It's just the reality of the situation. You're not pleased where you're at, but it's not, like I said, we're not dead. So thankfully, we have some key wins, and we have a half season, and we can change the whole thing, and it's on us. So that part is a positive. Yes, there's a lot of positive things. I think that as you work on, and you know, you look at it, and I think about this a lot. I mean, every year has been different since I've been here. I think it's been unique, and we've tried to improve and evolve with the personnel we have and how you're building it, and you do see that growth, but it's got to result. Like I said, that's the next step. Is you got to always give them credit, but we got to take away some of the self-inflicted, and it does start with the turnovers. That'll cost you. That's been the history of this league. So there are some encouraging things, absolutely. You're seeing some things. You're seeing the tight end position. You're seeing Jonnu and Kyle kind of get back to form, and that's encouraging. I haven't seen Jonnu move like that since I was with him in Tennessee. I mean, he was rolling. I mean, I don't know whether you believe in the advanced stats or whatever, the GPS or whatever it is, but, you know, seeing that number, that was real. You could feel that on the sideline. I haven't seen that, and I haven't been with him a couple of years, but even watching the film, that's exciting. You're seeing Kyle, even as the game got going, he's starting to go back. So that's encouraging, the way we protected. Seeing Algier, obviously, you know, we got to get everybody to hit on all cylinders, but that's why I think you're close, even what feels like a negative. I thought our interior defensive line, I thought what Contavious Street did on a short week was very positive. It wasn't just the fumble he caught, the impact he had. I thought he played really good in the run game and had some good rushes. So you're right, there are some things, and not to be too super negative.
False starts or
Yeah, we had 4 procedure penalties.
leadership and false starts.
Yeah, that's obviously they can put that with some critical errors. And like I said, I mean, those are overall the penalties. The pre-snap ones, 100% you can control, and that's where you're not happy with any of them. There's certain things that happen post-snap that you got to, you know, whether it's technique or emotion, discipline, whatever you want to call it, we got to do a better job. But the pre-snap ones drive you nuts. It's like those things. What can you control in life? We can 100% control the pre-snap. Yeah, I think he played a lot of snaps yesterday, Josh, and sometimes his impact away from the ball, you know, can open things up. I think for any rookie, the seasons are long. You're going to have ebbs and flows. He still has a huge impact on the game, over 700 yards. You're still looking for ways, and you know it's a long journey. So we'll see how this second half season goes, but he's been a huge part of our offense and he'll continue to be. Small things sometimes without the ball opens other things up, like they bring pressure on the screen to Jonnu. You know, 2 guys go with him. Maybe it holds a backside safety another second, which the guy doesn't have an angle, and New gets through there. I mean, it was a pressure look that we anticipated, and that's why I called it. There were some other plays that Heineke's big run, they were in man coverage. I mean, they collapsed on him, so everybody's back's gone, and Taylor sees the lane open up and takes off and extends that drive. And those are small examples, but he's had enormous impact. But I think any journey in the season, there's just long seasons, and there's ebbs and flows, and you certainly look at everything, and he's had a huge impact already. But we can continue to push it, and that's what our job is, and we will.
How are all our teams playing him differently than they were the first month of the season?
Well, I think some teams, you're more aware of where he has. You have to account for him on every play. We had a screen. We tried to get him the ball early, and Harrison Smith, runs out of a blitz, and, Heineke makes a smart play. Sometimes it's those boring plays that, at least it's not a negative play, and, yeah, he made a play, and sure, I guess you could say, maybe we should have done something different, but, he does have an impact, and we try to find creative ways, and then he's got his traditional running plays. And it's a good problem to have. Him and Tyler are different players. But like yesterday, Tyler, started that drive, Bijan had it. We get the first, right? He gets the first on the crack toss, and then Tyler just kind of took over the game, and he didn't want to take him out. It was going the hot hand, and it worked. So that happens sometimes too.
A few weeks ago, I asked you about his usage, and you said they have to be careful. How much of the line right now is careful with overuse versus you're getting to a point in the season where you got to have it everywhere?
Yeah, it's a good question. That is the balance, right? It's a long game. So 17, you want to play more, and that's we have an opportunity to do that, even as frustrated as you can feel on a Monday or after a game like that. So. Yeah, that's the evolution of it. Now's the time, and we got a 1-game season. We got to lock in on Arizona, and then thankfully we got a bye after that, which will come at a good time if we can take advantage of it. But yeah, that's a good question. But yes, as we continue to push it here for all of us, and we'll see. The health of Drake, hopefully get him back this week, and we'll see.
It seems like throughout the last 2 years, it seems like he's almost more of a volume rusher. Where if you give him the ball 5-6 carries in a row, it seems like he's almost maybe more effective than one year. Am I seeing?
No, you're seeing it right. You are, and every player that you coach is different, and that is the fine line sometimes. He gets into a rhythm, and that's what you want. You don't want a guy that has 320 carries by the end of the season either. That doesn't add up, and when you got multiple guys that can carry the ball. But yeah, that is. It's a good problem to have, and we got to continue to evolve and make sure we're getting the right amount of carries and distributing the ball. But certainly what's impressive to Tyler is guys like Tyler and the physicality he runs with, he does seem to wear people down. And that was evident yesterday. You saw it last year. But yeah, that all goes into consideration, Mike.
In terms of injuries,
yeah,
so was out, he was out.
Sure, yeah, the guys that came back out, even CP, as he was getting involved, he came back in, and so he should be good. D, we'll have to see. Mac will be the one that maybe most concerned about just for this week, but those are the in-game ones, and then guys you hope to get back to it goes. But I think it's trending in the right direction with Drake and DeMarco and Keith. But, as always, I think Wednesday will tell us a lot.
Was the frustration of the loss the reason for the mustache being gone?
I know. I kind of regret it already. Maybe it was a cleansing to get over this turnover funk. I'm going to probably grow it back because I already miss it. But I don't know. It was like 3:45. I couldn't sleep. I'd watched it already on. And then it was kind of I guess if I'd shaved my whole head, we know we got problems. You see that happen sometimes in society. But to bring a little levity to a situation, that is the truth. But I miss it already. Maybe it's a cleansing. So maybe stop turning the ball over, get back.
So you really were up at 3:45 and just shaved it? Like this was an impulse buy type thing?
Yeah, sadly, but yes, telling the truth, yes.
Coach, just before we go off a little bit, just getting how do you get prepared for a team like Arizona?
Yeah. Another quarterback,
took
right?
Time in Cleveland yesterday.
We'll monitor it, right? You got to have a plan for both. I'd expect Murray, if they think that it's the time to do it, we got to shut down the quarterback extension plays, and he's as good as anybody. So, it's a game as the season goes on, and there's things you're doing well, and then things come up, and you got to you got to put a stop to it. And certainly the quarterback play extension, regardless who's out there, but if Kyler plays, I mean, that is a strength of his, and we got to be ready for it.
I'm not gonna go too deep into the mustache, but I'm curious, well, just, I mean, I'm assuming Allison wasn't up at 3:45, did she wake up in the morning and be like, who are you?
Yeah, I mean, fortunately, I told her. She was like, whatever. I mean, she puts up with my BS. So, she kind of. What's that?
Did Ryan Nielsen shave his too?
No, he's still got the Tom Selleck look going.
Okay. I don't know if there's a solidarity thing going on.
No, I need it. My mom will come back.
Anything else?
One more non-football related thing. I don't know if you brought this up last week, but I just, I know you were nominated for the Salute Service Award with the Falcons. As a person who's still in uniform, I just want to say thank you for doing it, despite my personal feelings on salute to service in general, but I appreciate all your efforts and all your support for the military. I just want to say thank you and acknowledge you for the great work you've done in that area.
Well, appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's great that for you to say that, and it's very nice of you, but it's the least I could do. You know, it's not about politics or, you know, everybody's got different things. You know, I come from a military family, but it's not a political thing. It's more about service and, you know, as you know better than me, people sign up for different reasons, and we get back, and it was very sobering. I think about those guys that we met this summer that kind of right there on what they're doing for us, and they're sitting right there in Eastern Europe, and there's a lot of uncertainty going on in the world for sure. And it's the least I could do to get back to people who give up a lot for us. So appreciate you saying that.
Anything else? Thanks, guys.
Thank you.